This is Delhi. Please stand by for the next broadcast. This is All India Radio. Palm trees are an important component of the tropical forest ecosystem. They attract the attention of horticulturists, nature lovers, and foresters by their elegance and grandeur. Palm trees are being planted on the city sideways for beautification of city roads, but do these plants serve the local ecosystems? In our national program of features today, we bring to you a feature titled The Uniqueness of Being a Palm. The audio feature will create awareness about these conjuring species of flora and will explore intriguing facts about the palm trees and its various species.
In a forest, there live 3 friends: neem, mango, and people. While neem is valued for its medicinal properties, humans love the mango for its delicious fruit, and people is admired because the Buddha attained enlightenment under its foliage. The 3 friends often talk about life in the forest. Birds, insects, and other animals that reside under the canopy of the trees often join the gathering to discuss how to keep alive the biodiversity-rich forest, which is frequently disturbed by some selfish humans. One day, they notice an unusual tree in their neighborhood. Unlike the friends who have trunks with lots of branches and thousands of leaves, this one has a single-stemmed trunk with no branches.
Huh? Which tree is that?
Yeah, this one looks so unlike us. Its foliage is also different.
Yes, you are right. Its leaves or fronds are shaped like a fan.
Don't the leaves look like human hands?
Also, don't miss the bunch of red fruits hanging just below the leaves. I wonder if they are edible.
Oblivious to the attention it is drawing, the palm tree continues its tryst with the sky. Overcoming their initial curiosity, the 3 friends decide to introduce themselves to their neighbor. The palm is only too happy to make new friends.
Oh hi, I'm oil palm, and humans use my fruits to extract oil. My sap, trunk, leaves and roots are used in making wine, furniture and roofing material. In fact, human beings find every part of the coconut palm, which is my cousin, useful.
The 3 friends look up at the palm in wonderment.
We are natives of this forest. What about you?
Well, my ancestry can be traced back to Africa. But then, my cousins like the coconut, palmyra, tailpot, arcade, and dates grow in many countries across the world. I have over 2,500 cousins. And they contribute a lot to reduce pollution and prevent soil erosion.
The 3 friends are not entirely convinced by what the palm says. They have heard so many negative comments about the palm, like they are not bird-friendly and they contribute to global warming. As they ponder over these questions, as doubts swirl in their heads, they see Chiru, the tortoise, slowly crawling towards them after a sumptuous meal of leafy greens. Chiru is well travelled and is known for his knowledge and wisdom.
Da da da, do do do. Hello, friends. What's up? What's with those knitted eyebrows?
We are okay.
The trees share their doubts with Chiru. When he hears about their confusion, the tortoise laughs and says,
I know that your doubts come from the bad attention the oil palm has been getting over the years. But before I introduce you to my friends who are experts in palms, I will share with you some information I have gathered about the palms from my travels through West Asia, America, and Africa. The palm has been around since ancient times. Because of its antiquity, the palm symbolizes victory, peace, and is eternal for believers of the Abrahamic religions. The tree was sacred in Mesopotamian religions as well, as the date palm provides food that can be carried for long journeys in the arid regions of West Asia. It is considered as the symbol of life. However, even I have heard of several reports that say that the palm contributes to global warming and soaks up water from the environment.
See?
Let me call my friend, well-known environmentalist, Dr. C.R. Babu, who is responsible for successfully implementing many of the Indian government's afforestation program. He helped restore the Aravali Biodiversity Park, spread over 699 acres, and the Yamuna Biodiversity Park, spread over 457 acres. I am sure he will help us to clear our doubts. Hello, Dr. Babu. Chiru this side.
Hello, Thiru. How are you?
We need your help. Some of my tree friends here are curious to know about the palm, their usefulness, contribution to a nation's economy, and other related issues.
Palms belongs to the family Palmae, which is also known as Ericaceae. Most of them are found in the tropics and subtropics, and they form a characteristic vegetation in the tropics. Their habit is very unique, and one can recognize them very easily by their unbranched stem with a crown of leaves at the top. They are economically important. In fact, they provide all necessaries of life in the tropics. For example, coconut, and you can take sour palm, and you take betel nut, and then you have palms which give wax, and there are palms which give vegetable ivory, and every part of the palm is used by human beings.
But I wonder if palm can be called a tree, because it does not have branches, nor does it have leaves like the other trees. Some have fronds that grow along each side of a stem, like the fox's tail, while others have leaves at the end of the stem.
Palms are not called trees. They are woody herbaceous plants, and they all belong to monocots, like bamboos. Bamboos are not trees. Woody herbaceous plants. The stem is woody, and it has a very unusual secondary growth, and that secondary growth makes them unique anatomically. But the palms confined to the tropics, and the fact that the tropical humid climate is very essential for their growth, development, and reproduction. They are very abundant in the humid tropics. If you go to Andaman and Nicobar Islands, right in the dense evergreen forest, you have many palms. And I think in Western Ghats also we have a few palm species. And only a few trees are moved out of the tropics and subtropics, go in the semi-arid areas like Phoenix. And Cocos is confined along the coastal zone. And that is a unique palm in terms of its morphology, in terms of its habit, in terms of its biology.
By this time, many other trees, birds, animals, and insects have gathered around to listen to the interesting conversation on palm trees. The peepal and jamun trees, which line up sidewalks of many Indian cities, especially Delhi, look a little disappointed.
I have been observing that the local civic bodies are pushing me and my friend Jamun Tree out from the league and instead planting non-native palms on sidewalks and road dividers, especially in the cities. But why is there a need to do so? Tell me, Chiru.
Seeing his worried friends, Chiru decides to ask Suhas Borkar, founder of the Green Circle of Delhi, a 30-year-old voluntary organization that works to save the native trees of Delhi.
Is it a good idea to plant palms on city sidewalks?
Palm trees are not at all useful to the ecosystem of a city like Delhi because they serve no purpose apart from just giving some beauty, but otherwise they serve no purpose. During the Commonwealth Games in 2010, a massive drive was done in planting palm trees in Delhi, and later they just all went away. You need trees which will clear the air. You realize the level of pollution we have. So what is the contribution of a palm tree to clearing pollution in the city? It's zero. We have to see everything within the context. You have to look at holistic view, how will it contribute to clearing the pollution?
Agreeing with Mr. Borkar, Dr. Babu further adds,
When you think of bringing these palms outside their native habitat and then introduce them as avenue trees, then their ecological function is not very effective. Palms do not form an effective avenue trees. Although the royal palm, Roystina regia, is widely used as an avenue tree, but what's the function of an avenue tree? An avenue tree is one that provides shade and the one that purifies polluted air and one that holds high amount of precipitation. These are some of the functions of the avenue trees. And habit of the palm, that is a tall unbranched stem with just a small crown of leaves, will not enable palms to serve as an effective avenue trees. Although many landscape architects as well as horticulturists do grow these palms as avenue trees and also for landscaping beauty. But for the sake of beauty of a small area, these palms are no doubt provided beauty and aesthetic, but will not perform the much needed ecological functions in the urban centers. Very frequently in Delhi, Washingtonia palm has been introduced from Bangalore. Now, the fate of some of the Washingtonia palms which have been planted along the avenues, they are not in a good, healthy condition. And they often may not able to tolerate the cold temperature in the winter and the extreme high temperature in the summer.
Grandpa Owl, who has been listening to the conversations from the hollow of the jackfruit tree, wants to know about the controversies surrounding the oil palms.
I am particularly worried that more and more indigenous trees are being cut down to grow oil palms. If this continues, my children and grandchildren may become homeless, as palms don't have tree hollows where owls can roost. I am certainly worried about our future. Well, this is surely a matter of concern. Let me call my friend, Professor Tanya Lee, who teaches anthropology in the University of Toronto. She has extensive research experience in Indonesia, where the rapid expansion of large-scale oil palm plantations has changed landscapes and influenced the lives of millions of people. Hello, Professor Lee.
Namaste, Chiru.
Namaste, namaste. My friend Owl is worried that his future generations would go homeless if native trees are replaced by palm trees. What do you have to say about that, Professor Lee?
If you plant 10 or 20,000 hectares with a single crop, then of course the diversity of all kinds of life will be much reduced. The only kinds of creatures which will survive in an oil palm plantation are those which feed on oil palm. So for example, rats, pythons which feed on the rats, like those are common, but you don't get the diversity of birds and other creatures that you would have in a forest landscape or in a mixed farming landscape, where there's all kinds of different species will find some nourishment and a home there. So I don't think the plant itself is a problem. I think this plant is very productive. It produces a lot of oil per hectare. People need cooking oil. India is a huge user of palm oil as an affordable cooking oil for your population. So there's nothing wrong with the palm as such. In my view, the problem is the plantation style of development.
I have heard that large-scale oil palm plantation in these countries is destroying the native ecosystem, and the environmentalists are worried that the proposed oil palm cultivation in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands may destroy the biodiversity of the region.
Dr. Babu, who was part of the committee that was formed to prepare a document on oil palm plantation in Little Andamans, can help us clear our doubts.
It is not the oil palm is controversial. What has happened is that we have very few left out rainforest ecosystems. They are mostly in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and then we have in the Western Ghats and some areas in the Eastern Himalayas. Now, the most suitable climate for oil palm is these rainforest ecosystems. The rainforest ecosystems regulate many ecological processes, and those processes are important in terms of our monsoon pattern, in terms of weather conditions, and in terms of many other macroclimatic conditions. Now, if I lose this, that's my entire diversity is lost. So there are problems. I must tell you, I've seen this oil palm plantation in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, destroyed hundreds of hectares of rainforest ecosystem, but yields are very low and the productivity is very low. So is it worth economically in the long run to have an oil palm in place of our rainforest ecosystem?
Reports have been coming in that the livelihood of many farmers in countries like Malaysia and Indonesia are being affected by large-scale palm plantations. As palm oil has many end users, we want to know if there is a sustainable solution, which is a win-win situation for both the government and the farmers.
Professor Lee says,
If you are in Papua, which is part of eastern Indonesia, the people there are very dependent on the sago palm, which gives them their most important food. It grows amply, provides excellent food source, and that's part of the cultural traditions of the people of Papua. They are experiencing a terrible loss because all of their groves of sago palm, which is part of their life, their food, their culture, is being completely bulldozed and replaced by oil palm, which gives them nothing. You might go with oil palm, but you would do it farmer-based. Every farmer could have a few hectares here and there. And that would be a very good addition to their income. When the small-scale farmers are growing it on their own land, they do very well from it. It's a very welcome addition to their portfolio of products that they grow. But when they are pushed aside or evicted to make way for plantations, of course, it's impoverishment and loss and very few jobs, actually, and not a good and sustainable form of rural development.
There is pin-drop silence in the forest. Even the birds and insects are listening with rapt attention to Professor Lee as she lobbies for the small format village crop model for oil palms.
That was enriching. Let us now talk to Professor Richard Kennedy, Head of the Department of Horticulture in Agricultural College and Research Institute, Killikulam, Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu, for further clarity.
Elaborating on the economic values of different palms, Professor Kennedy says,
Normally, the palms are highly useful and they are economically valuable. Particularly, the commercial palms like coconut is a very good source of oil. The arecanut is useful for masticator purpose. The oil palm is a good source of edible oil. Similarly, the date, it yields edible fruits.
All is not negative about the palms. If grown sustainably, many palm species contribute to a country's growth. Here comes my little friend Sona, the house sparrow. Hello, Sona.
Hello, Chiru. I was listening to your conversation about the palm trees. I have seen palms not only in jungles, islands, cities, but also in city homes. I quite often visit homes of people who keep these trees. I'm curious to know why people are growing palms in their balconies, living rooms, and even bedrooms.
the trees and the animals listening to the conversation look confused.
At home? Is it even possible?
Chiru ponders for a while and remembers his friend S.P.S. Surendran, a feng shui expert who guides people on how to maintain good energy flow in their homes.
Oh, my little friend, I think I can help you get an answer. Surendran will explain to us the relevance of keeping palm trees in indoor spaces and its significance in feng shui.
From the feng shui perspective, palm trees are considered vital because they create positivity and they bring in a sort of feel of relaxation and tranquility when it is grown around the building. We have varieties of palm trees. Indoor palm trees are also considered very good because if you have a large building or a large interior layout, these potted plants of palm tree, when they are positioned in different sectors of the home, in specific strategic sectors, they are able to activate the energy flow into the building. Like the energy keeps moving and it's channelized in. So it could be an indoor plant, it could be external garden which is having a lot of palm. We can also use palm trees to correct defects in your home. For example, if you're having a main door, or if you're having a situation where your main door is having an affliction because of an electric pylon or a tall building or something which is unfavorable facing your main door, we would normally recommend putting up a tree, not directly in line with the door, but in the vicinity of this affliction to sort of, act as a shield so that this negative energy doesn't flow into your house or into the main door. So we use palm tree to diffuse energies also. In short, I would say palm is a very important tree from the feng shui perspective because it has got all kinds of positive traits in it.
While everyone is absorbed in what the feng shui expert was saying, Chiru suddenly remembers that in 2018, when Cyclone Gaj uprooted many lives in Tamil Nadu, only the Palmyra palm stood its ground, thanks to its fibrous roots that penetrate into the earth up to a depth of 50 meters. Like the coconut, every part of the Palmyra is useful, from thatching to making mats, baskets, fans, hats, umbrellas, soft beverages, jams, spreads, and toffees. These are some of the 800 uses of the Palmyra. Unfortunately, with changes in the land use pattern and lack of trained persons to climb the Palmyra to harvest its fruits, there has been a steady decline in the number of these trees. To conserve the palms, the Tamil Nadu government has launched several schemes. The Tamil Nadu Agriculture University is working on a mechanical device to assist in the Palmyra palm harvesting. According to Professor Kennedy, the fabrication of the machine is in its advanced stage and will be launched soon.
My friend, palm is a beautiful tree, and all its cousins stand out in aesthetics. I've heard that Palmyra palm is able to survive in adverse climatic conditions. Is it true, Professor Kennedy?
Palmyra, it is a crop of dry belts of India. It's largely cultivated in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. It has a very deep-rooted system. It improves the water holding capacity of the soil. And another mechanism that the leaves have high relative water content. It provides the crop to tolerate even the adverse drought climatic conditions.
Chiru hears someone grunting from behind. He turns around to see another traveler friend of his, Kalu the camel, pacing towards him.
I love dates, and in my opinion, everyone should shift to date farming from oil palms to save the ecology. Date palms help in land reclamation and check desertification.
Oh, is it? I was not aware of that. Maybe Professor Kennedy can shed some light on it. Let's hear from him.
Date palm is a crop of desert regions. It decreases the atmospheric temperature, improves the humidity, and enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. So the date palm is a very good choice under the neglected desert situations.
After listening to this informative discussion on the palm species and their uses, the neem, jamun, mango, in fact the entire forest and its residents, birds, bees, butterflies, and the four-legged animals realized that they all, however big, small, or unusual they may look, have a role to play in keeping the planet's ecosystem safe and work in tandem to maintain the Earth's temperature at sustainable levels. As Dr. Babu said,
in an ecosystem, every species has a role to play. If you go to the high altitude Himalayas, you find one set of species complete their life cycle in 15 days. Why? Because that is the only time where the climate is suitable for its growth and reproduction. And during that period, there's a lot of activity in terms of pollinators, in terms of the microbial activity, in the decomposition and so on. Now, after 15 days, again, you find another group of plants that will come up. So, in an ecosystem, every species is essential.
I am delighted to have you in our friends group, Palm.
Yes, yes. Welcome to the group. You're a friend now.
And I'm happy too, to have such a big family.
The wise tortoise then turns to his friends and says,
All of us, including humans, are connected by one consciousness. We all have our laughter and pain ingrained in each other. But for some humans who, overcome by their greed, are destroying us, let our tribe increase and make the planet healthy and an economically sustainable place for all its residents. The sun is about to set. I think we should leave for our respective homes. See you later, friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
In the National Program of Features, you just heard a feature titled The Uniqueness of Being a Palm. The feature was scripted by Ranjeni A. Singh and narration was rendered by Purnima Sharma. Additional voicing was by Manoj Mainkar, D. Andrew, Vaibhav Srivastava, Ujjwal and baby Saarah Mainkar. The program was conceptualized and produced by Meenakshi Mund. A presentation of Central English Features Unit, this broadcast came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio.